YouTube has continued to attack alternative media by demonetizing most of our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, please visit our Amazon store or our Patreon page. Links below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel. And you know, one of my favorite words to come out of this whole anti-SJW commentary community thing is the word snowflake. Mostly because it really pisses off some people when you call them that. And it's not just left-leaning ones. There are as many right-leaning snowflakes as there are left. It is now just a blanket term for someone who totally can't deal right now with reality. And it doesn't matter who you are. But this particular article clearly is going to be focusing on those of the liberal perspective. And it's funny because they say here, don't call us snowflakes because it damages our mental health. Perhaps it damages your mental health because you think you're a snowflake, right? And this, of course, is coming from young people. Saying here, being called a snowflake is damaging to mental health, young people say. Figures show that the majority of young people think that the term is unfair, and even more think it could have a negative effect of its own. Now, I could see that being applied to maybe the word millennial, mostly because the word and term gets oftentimes used as a 100% negative, right? Millennials aren't engaging in a marriage or dating anymore. They're just having random hookups through Tinder. Millennials are drinking so much wine, stores are running out of it. You know, I mean, it's clearly used as a way to attack people born at a specific time around the beginning of the millennium. Now, what you have here in the term snowflake is something that is more maybe rooted in negativity, but it's meant to prove a point. See, the idea behind someone being a millennial is just someone being born around a certain time, whereas the idea around being a snowflake is more, well, about how you handle certain things in your life and about how you deal with reality. You can't help when you were born. You can help your mentality when dealing with reality, right? So it says here that the snowflake generation is a disparaging term now commonly used to refer to young people who are perceived to be oversensitive and intolerant of disagreement. No, I just want to kind of stop there. Not just young people. Literally anybody who is intolerant of disagreement. Literally anyone who will choose feels over reals. And then also go out of their way to make sure that they're never encroached upon in their echo chamber. Those are the snowflakes, those who believe that they are unique and that they're special and that they're not unlike anyone else out there. But research by insurance firm Aviva found that 72% of 16 to 24-year-olds think the term is unfairly applied, while 74% think it could have a negative effect on young people's mental health. Perhaps. I'm willing to concede that particular point, and the reason why I am, at least in terms of meeting halfway for a discussion purpose, is because why are people age 16 through 24 being told that they're snowflakes? Well, a lot of it has to do with the way things are handled via social media. And again, it's not just someone of a certain age. It is literally anyone out there who disagrees when presented with facts, disagrees, or doesn't even really disagree, but just shuts down emotionally, shuts down mentally. I was over lunch today having the discussion with my girlfriend's mom about Christina Hoff Sommers and how when she went to go speak at a college, there were students there who wanted a safe space in order to protect themselves from the evil-based mom. Those people would be considered snowflakes, because they melt when any little bit of opposition comes their way. If something emits just the most minuscule amount of heat, they will just completely disintegrate because that is how they were raised. And I don't even know necessarily if it was raised by their parents who did this. I oftentimes think it has more to do with the environment that their children surround themselves with when they're at the age of trying to connect with other young people their age, their peer group, so to speak. And the parents, it's not that they necessarily, give them these particular opinions. It's just that they're never there to challenge those opinions. And they think that when they do challenge them and the meltdown happens, right? The snowflake just melts, that they think it's just teenage hormones and they choose not to engage with it in a meaningful way to basically show their kids, hey, you're wrong. But you're not unhelpable necessarily. Now, figures also show that young people are more likely to have experienced stress, anxiety, and depression in the last year. I would say everyone experiences stress, anxiety, and depression. You know, we're at an age now where people talk about it more via social media, via whatever, pop culture. And so more people talk about it openly. So that might be why they think that they are also the ones experiencing it more. Never mind the fact, though, that those particular feelings, those thoughts, they never necessarily go away, right? You know, you may be depressed when you're a young person, hit 40, and look back at your life realizing it's half over and you've accomplished nothing that you want to accomplish. That's some hardcore depression, right? Just because you didn't get your venti half-calf soy boy latte from Starbucks on time doesn't mean you're oppressed. More or less means you're privileged. Anyway, almost half of adults between the age of 16 and 24 said they've experienced stress or anxiety, compared to a third of all UK adults. Well, how many UK adults are there compared to how many young people are there? I mean, look at the age breakdown. Like I said before, we had a huge population boom from 1979 to 1999. 3 billion people came into this world, right? Those people are now a little older than the 16 to 24-year-old crowd, but are they the ones that are being interviewed here? Young adults were also more likely to be uncomfortable talking about a mental health problem, with 1 in 3 saying this compared to 27% of all adults. Yeah, because when you're younger, talking about mental health problems on a serious level is difficult to have. However, if you want to update your Tumblr profile or Twitter bio to say that you have a mental disorder, it's a lot easier than actually legitimately facing the problem. And I would go as far as to argue that there are many adults out there who have the same exact problem when attempting to face the problem. 13% also say that they were experiencing a problem but had not sought help, compared to 7% of all adults. Well, adults, again, lived with this kind of stuff for so long, they don't see that they can get help. We also have such a taboo in the Western society over getting help on mental health and maintaining it that oftentimes it's met with, well, shame or any kind of just embarrassment of it. People go, oh yeah, you know, you don't want to tell people you're going to see a counselor, that you're going to see a therapist, that you're going to get a mental health checkup, because it's seen as having something inherently wrong with you, because of the way our society has made it a taboo subject, when in fact it's not, and it should be something that is more greatly championed, because the better we are at our mental health, the better we are with the rest of our life. And that is something that I truly believe in, but unfortunately a lot of people out there don't ever want to engage in it because they are just afraid of the stigma of what it could mean if you are going and getting help, seeking help. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm going to see a therapist today. First time. Got a session all set up. Why? Because I need to. I have no shame in that. I have no shame in seeking out that level of help, because it's necessary. And if me talking about it openly is a way to get other people to see that it's okay, then I'm more than happy to do that, because I want more people to go and seek the help that they feel they might need. And if they don't, then there's not much we can do for them, but they just need to know that it's okay. The firm's medical expert, Dr. Doug Wright, said the term could cause problems. Our findings suggest that young adults are more likely to be experiencing mental health problems, so using a phrase which criticizes their age group could also add to this issue. Again, a lot of times the term snowflake applies to those college students that are acting like absolute insufferable children, the kind that have never been challenged during the echo chamber that is high school, or the complete obliviousness that their parents show to them when they're throwing this kind of temper tantrum while they're teens, chalking it up to hormones or things like that. So when they hit what could be considered the buffer into the real world, they don't know how to react. They shut down. And so yes, the common terminology is in fact snowflake, because they melt when any kind of heat rolls their way. Saying here any term used disparagingly to a segment of the population is inherently negative, and I'm not disagreeing. But it's not to a segment of the population. It's to a specific type of person who exhibits a specific type of action. I wouldn't walk up to a random 16-year-old just sitting there on their phone Snapchatting and go, "What's up, snowflake?" Because it doesn't make any sense. Now, if that particular person is in college a couple years later, and they're out there and they're trying to, like, I don't know, champion for like safe spaces in DMV lines to get away from that person who just won't stop talking to you, then I would call them a snowflake and like, get over it. And most people out there would agree. That's why this term is not disparagingly used against a group of people. It has specific meanings, specific connotations, and those who use it understand it. This Dr. Doug Wright, I don't think has done his research. Saying, while young adults in particular appear to take offense to the snowflake label, the majority of adults agree that the term is unfair and unhelpful. So it's important that people consider how such labels are used and the cumulative effect they have on their recipients. Okay. The phrase, which originated in America, has particularly come to refer to universities and students who use trigger warnings to alert readers or listeners to potentially distressing material, and safe spaces which are meant to be free of certain opinions or ideas. Well, you just kind of explained it there. So it's not using it disparagingly against the young 16 to 24-year-old demographic. It is clearly referencing a specific mindset used by specific people in an attempt to sanitize everything. Oh no, I don't want to have a disagreement or a dissenting opinion anywhere near me. I can't handle it. I can't do it. I just can't. Because you're a snowflake. But here's the thing, you know how you stop being a snowflake? You just stop, right? You don't freak out when someone you don't like has a difference of opinion, all right? Like you just don't freak out. You just let it go, okay? Y'all seem to love that damn Disney movie anyway, so just let it go, let it go. That's all I'm going to do with that. But the point is, just let it go. It's also used to imply that young people are less resilient than older generations and quicker to take offense. In some respects, yes. In some respects, no. We'll leave it at that. It's also thought to originate with U.S. author Chuck Palahniuk's, I can't pronounce his name, 1996 book Fight Club, which contains the line, "You are not special, you are not a beautiful and unique snowflake." Yeah, because you're not. You're not. And that's, again, the whole point here, is that you are not. You are you. You are an individual. You have to work for what you have in this world. You know, you are unique to some extent, but you're not a beautiful snowflake, right? That's not unlike other people out there. When you dress like all your friends, when you adopt the same sayings as all your friends, when you walk around college campus with your crayon heads and your nose piercings and your $285 Doc Martens while complaining about capitalism, you're not a unique individual snowflake. You're a carbon copy like the rest of them. You just can't see it because you're mad about something all the time. In an interview earlier this year, he took credit for the term, adding, "My friend who teaches in high school tells me that the students are very easily offended." And yeah, he wrote the book in 1996. It's 21 years later. And all they've done now is get more offended. All they've done now is not realize that they can be challenged and have it not be the end of the world. And that's not something they're going to learn until they get out of college. That's not something they're going to learn until they get into the real world, when they realize that the real world gives no damns about those people. It's something that I feel they need to be exposed to a little bit earlier. Not like when they're 6 years old or something. Let them have a childhood for crying out loud. But at the same time, when they start realizing that you can have difference of opinions and that you should engage with difference of opinions in order to have a better understanding of why someone thinks differently than you, instead of just shutting them all down and locking them all away and looking for your safe space. Maybe, just maybe, we'll have a better, more well-evened and more well-rationed generation. But right now, we don't. And I hope that, for God, my daughter, I hope it's better for her than it is for these kids who are of this age right now, who can't handle being called a snowflake because they look at it as derogatory and negative, and it hurts their fifis, which, to be fair, is the precise reason why they were called a snowflake in the first place. Hey guys, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so below. I love to read your guys' input. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel, there's the Amazon affiliate store, there's PayPal, there's Patreon, there's Bitcoin. And if you're bored and you want something else to watch, check out 3 Buck Theater up here. My name is Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace out.